My name is Thorn. I'm 55 years old, and I own my own garage. What makes it special is that I built it from scratch. I started working at 18 under my uncle, and after 7 years, I had saved enough money to start my own business. The initial years were tough. I worked tirelessly to make it succeed. Over the next 30 years, it grew into what it is today. Did I fall in love? Yes, I fell in love with Jenny. I met her at an auto show while she was still in university. We instantly connected, exchanged numbers, and decided to meet up. Since we lived in different cities, our communication was mostly over the phone. A few months later, we met again, and this time, she came over to my place. She was amazing, and it was special because it was her first time. A few months later, Jenny lost her parents, and her university fees were in jeopardy. Knowing she was the one for me, I used my savings to pay for her studies. She was overwhelmed, cried, and hugged me. 5 years later, she moved in with me and landed a job at a local law firm as a lawyer. One beautiful Sunday, we went hiking. After 3 hours, we reached the top of a hill with a stunning view of the entire city. Suddenly, Jenny got on one knee and proposed. I was surprised and said yes. She gave me a ring and told me, "From now on, you're mine forever." 3 weeks later, we got married in a small ceremony. Over the next 20 years, life was great. We had 2 kids, Kaya, who's 19, and Zephyr, 18. Now they're living their own lives. Kaya is finishing university, and Zephyr is the lead guitarist in a local rock band. With both kids out of the house, I felt content and satisfied with my life. I never got a higher education and was often seen as a brute, but I never cared. Then Jenny changed. After being married for 20 years, I knew everything about her, how she thinks, behaves, and lies. Her new job, which she started about a year ago, came with more money and glamour. Her new boss was a big-shot lawyer, famous for his court cases. I never liked him, but I never thought I'd have to cross paths with him. After observing Jenny for about 3 months, I confronted her about her late-night working hours. I'm usually a gentle soul, but today was different. Jenny had never seen this side of me. After about 20 minutes of hard questioning, she broke down and admitted to sleeping with her boss. I had a simple question. Why? You are the same man I married 20 years ago. You never changed, never upgraded. You wear shabby clothes, look like a brute, and are unpresentable in society. I want better. Someone who can be my equal. You just agree to everything I want. You never acted as the husband and took charge as an alpha male. I looked at her and asked, "You want to leave me after my loyalty of over 25 years because I don't dominate and abuse? I'm not a good husband. I sent 2 kids to college. I made sure you became a lawyer. And now I'm not good enough." She tried to play tough. "You should accept this situation. I will be with my new lover, and you should accept it. If you don't, I'll divorce you and take everything you've worked for. I'll put you in legal loops and you'll spend the rest of your life running between the court and the streets. I'll take your most prized possession. The garage you built over the years will be gone. So, be ready for it." I leaned back in my chair. "You think you can put me through a legal process and take everything?" She nodded. I laughed and said, "Best of luck." She tried to speak, but I didn't let her. I got up and left the house. The next morning, I saw Jenny and just walked out of the house for work. Once I was gone, Jenny called her lover. "Hello, Dax. What's the matter, sweetie? You look terrible. Thorn knows about us. He confronted me this morning. I told him everything. Shit. That could complicate things. It's not the end of the world, though. We talked about this possibility. I know we did. But when the time came, it hurt. After all, Thorne and I have been together for 25 years, married for 20, and have 2 kids together. What did you say to him? Pretty much what we agreed on. I didn't bother denying it. You know I'm a lousy liar. I stuck to the script you suggested. Told him the truth of it, that I'm a successful career woman, a lawyer who's been married to a mere mechanic for most of her adult life. A guy who has never tried to better himself. That for once I wanted to be with an alpha male. Someone who's my equal. A man who can take charge. Not one who bowed to my wishes every step of the way. Yeah, pretty much. Don't put him down too much, though. He does have his own business now, and his trade provided for the kids and me, putting them through college and me through uni. When we rehearsed it, it sounded like I deserved someone like you. But when he reminded me of the years of support, both emotional and financial, he provided, it all sounded a little hollow. You know what I'm saying? Did you tell him everything then? That if he didn't accept the status quo, the firm would back you in a divorce and leave him? Yes, I did, Dax. The only problem is, he didn't seem to care a rat's ass about all that. He just kept repeating that he couldn't believe I was tossing him away after all his loyalty. I'm going to say, Dax, it hurt. I tried to tell him I wasn't discarding him. I just felt I deserved a little extra. But I don't think he took that in. I don't want to lose him, Dax. Just a little extra. Jin, I'm insulted. You said you love my big cock, honey. You told me it took you places good a whole hobby hadn't in years. Did you or did you not say you'd never had sex like that? Yes, I did, Dax. But I told you I wasn't that experienced when I married Thorne. He was always so gentle. You were so different, so dominating and demanding. It just swept me away. Yes, and I will continue to sweep you away. Lover. Your husband will just have to accept that you have an extra dimension now. With you, he's lost his top dog status. I'm the alpha male around here, and he'll just have to accept it. Still, I'd hate to think I've cost you a 25-year marriage. Tell you what, I'll prepare some documents and go see him this afternoon. Leave me the address of his workshop. What documents? Anything I can think of. You know the trick we play on all gullible schmucks. Orders restraining him from coming anywhere near you, me, or your home. Papers freezing his company bank accounts. That's just the start. We'll overwhelm him with papers that he's not qualified to know are just bluffs. Your little hubby is about to be told in no uncertain terms just who the alpha is around here. Believe me, sweetie, by the time I've finished bullying him, he'll be begging you for whatever scraps he can get. I don't know. You didn't see his face this morning. That afternoon, around 2:00 p.m., the alpha male came to my garage. Mr. Vesper, can I come in? My name is. I know who you are. Good. That saves some time. I believe Jenny told you this morning that the arrangement she and I have will continue into the foreseeable future. What she didn't tell you, I believe, is why you'll allow it. If I could just set my briefcase here. Thank you. I don't know if you're aware, but I own the company Jenny works for. That means I have over 20 lawyers at my disposal, and I can assure you that each one was chosen for their superior record of cases. More than half of them specialize in divorce law, and I won't hesitate to unleash every single one of them against you. This bundle is what I prepared to file this morning. Let me go through them briefly. This is a petition for divorce. See? Your wife has already signed it. This is an order freezing your company accounts until the business can be sold under a settlement agreement. This is an order giving you 24 hours to vacate your marital home. These 4 are restraining orders, keeping you at least 200 meters away from myself, Jenny, her home, and our place of business. Do you see where this is going, horn boy? I'll have you so wrapped up in legal wrangling that you won't be able to move. You'll give up in the end when you don't have a penny left to hire the world's worst lawyer. And guess what? All through this, I'll still be fucking your wife. Yes, I see you're bigger and stronger than me. But you need to realize, Neanderthals don't rule the world anymore. Brains won over brawn years ago. Look, It doesn't have to be like this, Mr. Vesper. Not at all. Let's just keep the status quo, shall we? I'll keep seeing her when I want, and you get to see her when she wants, just like it's been for the last 4 months. Why make waves? I'll get sick of her one day. Then she'll be all yours again. All right, I've said my piece. Let's face it, if you'd been all she needed, we wouldn't be here now, would we? My advice is to just accept it. Take it on the chin and use it as an opportunity for self-improvement. One piece of advice though, buddy. Stand up to your wife a little more. I stole her from you, not by being the most charming guy, but by being the alpha male and telling her how it was going to be, just like I've done with you. Have you finished yet, Winback? I can see that, like most of society today, you don't have a clue what the term alpha male means. Do you want a mere mechanic to explain it to you? Go on, cuck. Tell me what it means. Well, they do say a picture paints 1,000 words. With that, I took a half step forward and drove my right fist into the lawyer's face. There was a satisfying crunch of gristle and teeth being dislodged. Dax slumped to the floor, back against the wall of the workshop, a look of absolute amazement clear on the undamaged part of his face. Consider that illustration number 1. Before the pain really set in, I lifted Dax to his feet, but immediately dropped him again with an uppercut to the diaphragm. This time, Dax lay on his side, gasping for breath. And that's illustration number 2. Just as Dax's search for breath was succeeding, my steel-capped right boot stomped on his outstretched hand, breaking the wrist and several bones within it. A boot to the chest, breaking 3 ribs, settled my rage for the moment. And those were illustrations 3 and 4. Mr. Alpha, it would really help if you stopped squealing. I'm trying to teach you something here. By the way, thanks for making me break my promise to myself back in high school, never to use my size and strength offensively. I was going to leave you out of the consequences of Jin's actions until you came barging in here, rubbing my nose in it. Even gentlemen have their breaking points. I rested my foot on Dax's throat until I had his full attention. Now, back to your education. The term alpha male comes from wolf packs. He's the one wolf who tells all the others what to do. He might not be the smartest or even the biggest, but he's the meanest motherfucker around, the one that will kill without hesitation. He's absolutely ruthless. And you, son, don't even come close. You may be the alpha in your air-conditioned office, but out here in the real world, you're just another weakling. And I wouldn't go around calling yourself smart. You didn't even bring a witness, you dumb fuck. Now let's look at the possible futures here. Option 1 is that you report this to the police. Maybe they arrest me, maybe they don't. Maybe they let me out on bail, maybe they don't. Maybe they pin it on me. Maybe they can't. A lot of maybes in there, Dax. Worst case scenario for me is a 5-year apprenticeship in prison. 5 years of learning how to hurt people, how to kill, and how to hide the body so no one ever finds it. And then when I finish my apprenticeship, we'll have another conversation like this one. Or you could chalk this up to experience. Use it as a learning moment about what can happen when you screw another man's wife. Now fuck off. I have some cleaning to do, thanks to you bleeding and crapping yourself on my nice, clean workshop floor. Alpha, my ass. Jenny called Dax that evening. Dax? I'm waiting at the office. I thought you'd be back ages ago. Where are you? I've just been admitted to a ward in the hospital after 3 hours in casualty. My God. What happened? Were you in an accident? No. I underestimated your husband. I stupidly went to see him alone. He broke my nose, my left hand, some ribs, and possibly my cheekbone. I don't believe it. He's never been violent, at least not that I know of. Believe me, it's true. I'll show you the x-rays if you like. My God, I can't believe it. Not my Thorn. Is there any way I can stop you from going to the police? We kind of brought this on ourselves. Despite what he's done, Thorn doesn't deserve to end up in prison over this. The police have already been here. I told them I was knocked down by a hit-and-run driver. Your darling, gentle husband told me that as bad as I am now, this is only a down payment on what I can expect if I press charges. I can't risk getting hurt again. I've decided to keep my mouth well and truly shut. That sounds a bit cowardly. It sounds like you're terrified of him. I just can't believe it. Thorn wouldn't hurt a fly. Well, believe me, I have the broken bones to prove it. Just doing what I need to do to survive, Jin. Now I've got to go. They filled me full of pain meds, and they're starting to kick in. The next day, at Dax's hospital bedside. Dax, you have to help me. I drove around till after 8 last night. I didn't know if it would be safe to go home. I tried ringing Thorn to ask, but he never picked up. When I finally braved going home, all the locks were changed. I couldn't get in. I ended up staying at my sister's house. I checked this morning, and all our bank accounts are empty, and none of my credit cards work. You have to help me. Can you get one of the divorce guys at work to start the process of getting Thorn removed from the house? Can I come stay with you until then? No. No to what? All of it. If I use company assets and resources to help you, he'll have cause to come after me again. In fact, I'm going to play it safe. You're fired, Jen. I'll pay you an extra 4 weeks in severance if you pack up and leave today. Can you tell Thorn that I fired you if you see him, please? Didn't you hear me? Thorn has cleaned me out. Without money, a job, or your help, I'm screwed from the start. I'm sorry, Jin. You didn't see your husband's face as he beat me up. I'm doing what I have to do. You are pathetic. Yesterday, you were bragging that you're an alpha male. Today, you're quivering and worried that my husband, who is 10 times the man you are, is hiding under your bed. How I could ever think I'd be trading up if I ended up with you is beyond me. And you're delusional to think I was ever serious about a cheating slut like you. That same day, Jennifer Brown sat in her silent car on the side of the road with credit cards declined and out of cash. It had only been a matter of time before she ran out of fuel. I had not thought to cancel her phone service. Or was I being calculatedly cruel? She was driving toward the city where our 2 children now lived, looking for refuge. In all the years, they'd never let more than an hour pass before answering her messages. She'd started ringing them just after 10 that morning. She checked messages once again. 0. Jenny sighed, grabbed her useless handbag, and stepped out of the car. Straightening her skirt, she stepped to the side of the road and stuck out her thumb. I approached in a beaten-up van and smiled to myself as I saw the lone woman on the side of the road. I wouldn't have described myself as an alpha male. Even I knew that runners can't be labeled that way. Apex predators hunt alone. I stopped the van near her. She was shocked and looked like she wanted to run, but her body refused. She stood frozen. I climbed out and asked her to get in. We need to talk. She got in, and I laid it out for her. Prepare the divorce papers. No alimony, no share in my assets. Everything I own stays with me. Everything you own stays with you. All the jewelry I bought for you, you'll return. Put whatever you want as the cause for divorce. I don't care, as long as you're out of my life. You'll leave town after the divorce is finalized and never look back. You can talk to the kids and meet them when I'm not around, provided they want to see you. Your stuff will be packed and ready for pickup by 10 o'clock a.m. tomorrow. If it's not picked up by 11 o'clock a.m., it'll be burned. Do I make myself clear? She nodded. When can I get the papers? I asked. It'll take a week, she replied. It should be on my desk in the next 5 days, I stated firmly. She nodded again, looking like she had seen a ghost. I smiled, asked her to get out, and I drove off. The next morning, by 10:30 a.m., she had picked up her stuff. 5 days later, she delivered the papers with a cause listed as irreconcilable differences. I laughed. A few months later, I was a free man. I regret that my marriage broke down. I regret that Jenny didn't understand loyalty. I regret that she thought I couldn't change my clothes and become a presentable husband. She didn't understand that she could get seriously hurt if a 6'5" guy tried to dominate her in bed. I would have tried to save my marriage, talk to my wife, but she chose to threaten me with consequences. That was the point of no return for me. I will continue my life alone, and maybe one day I will die alone. After all, every apex predator dies alone.